Stand by for Moana.org radio. In 3, 2, 1. Cue the announcer.
You found Moana.org radio, your one source for tech news and reviews. Now, almost live from sunny Florida, here's your host, Moana McCall.
Greetings, folks, and welcome to episode 218 of Borderlands Radio. We got a great show lined up for you. We got the boy, we're going to be talking about 11 bookmarks. Yeah, delicious.com/iobuffa/218, because that's the show number, 218. 11 bookmarks to talk about, a little mixture of news going on. I apologize for missing Thursday. Some stuff came up, and had to cancel the show, but I'm back here Tuesday. I won't be doing the show Thursday. Why? Because it's a holiday. Thanksgiving holiday. U.S., United States, and Canada. I think pretty much most of North America and some other countries celebrate Thanksgiving. One of my favorite holidays of all time. Not one of. It is my favorite holiday of all time. So I won't be doing the show this Thursday. Also, we won't be having any activities this Friday. So pretty much this is going to be the last official broadcast of this week. We're going to resume next Tuesday. So you guys have a great holiday. Those of you who celebrate it, if you don't, then you just have a safe day, if you will. That's how it goes. And for our first story, we're going to be talking about Killzone. Killzone has almost turned 5 years old. This article is pretty cute. It says Killzone's almost 5, and it's they're going to be celebrating a little bit. It's going to be a little bit of some. I like to call it. I don't know if it's really celebration. It's more like, hey, we got an excuse to give you guys double XP, so here it is. So Killzone's almost 5. They're going to celebrate with double XP and more. They're going to have all kinds of sales and all kinds of events. Here's the rundown. Looking back at Killzone 1 later this week, they're going to have a retro tournament. The double XP weekend will run from November 27th through 30th. And finally, Killzone.com editor Victor Zugling will compare various features of Killzone 2 and its predecessor next week. So it's going to be pretty cool to see in terms of what they do with this. 5 years is a pretty good life for a game. Some games don't last more than 2 years. So congratulations to Killzone. They're almost 5, and they're going to be celebrating yet another excuse to be doing a double XP weekend. And I think a lot of us who play Killzone are going to be happy to see that. So check this out. This one's over on the PlayStation blog. They got the details over there. Next story, we're going to talk about Borderlands. And Borderlands getting some positive press this week. And I talked about this a couple of shows ago. Borderlands DLC was released today on the PlayStation 3 and the Xbox 360 for the low price of $10. You can get the Zombie Island, the DLC from there, and it's already been streamed on Justin.tv. I saw a couple people playing it, and it looks like what you expect. It's Borderlands with zombies and half dead people. They even have some guy throwing up, and it looked like Left 4 Dead actually. It's like he's like bleh. It's like, oh, there's a boomer. So I don't know. There's no word on when this is coming to PC, so we'll be looking at that. But this story that I want to talk about today has to do with the ending of Borderlands. Now, I finished Borderlands a couple weeks ago, and wow, I even recorded it. It's on my stream. It loops over at Justin.tv, and my reaction is just like, what was that? I mean, I was struggling to find some sort of a positive aspect about this. It was just, it was such a letdown. It was a lot of confusing aspects of it. But Paul Hellquist, the senior designer of Borderlands, he went on record to talk about it. He said they went through lots of different iterations on what the ending of the game was, and they ultimately ended up with what they got right now. They didn't know how people were gonna react to it, and this is what I like. Obviously, the reaction hasn't been as strong as we had hoped. Laughs. Ha 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 ha. We're not laughing. We're not laughing, Mr. Hellquist. Anyway, they claim in this article that, you know, the positive aspect of the ending is that it didn't paint them into a corner, and they're going to be able to continue with the game if they want to, and the way they crafted the ending, it's pretty much an open-ended book. I don't know how positive that is in my world, but you know, hey, whatever. Glass is half full. Go with what you know. So check it out. This one's over on the multiplayer blog, on the multiplayer blog, mtv.com. They got the details over there. You can check it out. Read the details, and I don't know, disagree or agree with what he's saying. I disagree. The ending was just bad. There's no saving it. But we'll see. Maybe they can redeem themselves with a sequel or more DLC besides the Left 4 Dead 2 downloadable content. But check this one out. It's over there. You guys may not remember. Some of you may have been too young, but there was this popular video site called Juiced. And you guys probably know about the craze that was going on today with Google Wave and with Gmail and all these other different sites with invites. Well, Juiced, used or goosed, a juiced, a deuced, a boost, was one of those sites. Everybody wanted an invite. Everybody wanted to get in on it. It was the birth of video on the internet. IP television is here. Oh, let's all celebrate. Let's all get on this juice train. Juice. Let's get on this juice train. Come on, everybody. I'm inviting you. You're special. Haha. We've given out 2 invites per year, and you're on that train. Haha. Well, Juice is dead, according to this article over on TechCrunch.com. Juice is now officially dead, and the assets have been acquired by Adconion Media Group. So, yeah. Last June, Juice announced that they're changing their business strategy and focusing on providing white label video platforms. Yeah. But that's kind of funny. You know, everybody gets on these, I don't know, I call them hype trains. You know, it's like the next big thing. Oh my goodness, everybody get on it, get on it, get on it. Oh, it's going to be great, it's going to be great. And then when we got Juice, we were like, okay, I can watch old cartoons, yay. Yeah. So, check it out. This one's over on TechCrunch.com. They got the details over there. You can read about it, and they got links to all the different people which acquired Juice and all that good stuff. Next story may help you if you're celebrating Thanksgiving or you're just having some downtime or something, you know, nothing to do lately. This comes by way of MakeUseOf.com. They got an article that states, these are the 9 hilarious websites to visit when you need to kill time. And they got a whole bunch of different categories. I think it's a pretty good article here. Some of these sites I visit, some I don't. And then got a nice kitty there. They got comedy videos. You know, you can go to College Humor, Today's Big Thing, and let's see, Break is another one. They got webcomics. They got some parodies news channels like The Onion. I love The Onion. They got some funny stuff. They got The Daily Show and even List 4chan. So these are some sites that you can visit to kill time. And I think this, some people, I know most of my friends online, they know of all of these sites. But some people may not know this. So this is something you can maybe pass along to your friends and say, hey, check out these sites if you get bored or you have some downtime. 9 hilarious, these are hilarious websites that you can check out after you eat all that turkey, after you eat all the leftovers, and you're sitting there going, oh, I can't move. Let me get my computer. Ooh, 9 hilarious websites. You can check it out. So this was over on MakeUseOf.com. You can get the details over there.
You're listening to Bwana.org Radio, a potpourri of tech news and reviews.
Did you know that the U.S. Air Force currently is using, what's the number? Let me find that. The U.S. Air Force is currently using, I saw it in here. They're using over 300 PS3s right now. They're using over 300 PS3s to crunch numbers. They're using them in a network supercomputer. And according to this article over on joystick.com, apparently they're going to purchase 2,200 more. 2,200 more. And this is a photograph of the girl from the Terminator series, and they're talking about the Air Force is going to build Skynet now. With they're going to build Skynet with all these PS3s. Now, it's pretty amazing that they're going to use a cell processor to do all of these things in terms of what they're going to do. I think some radar stuff, HD video processing, and neuromorphic computing. That sounds scary. For those of us without a PhD in Armageddonology, building computers with brain-like properties. That's something to be afraid of. I don't care what kind of geek you are. That's something to be scared of right there. When machines become aware, we've been told, we've seen it. They're gonna take over. You humans are flawed. You kill each other and you bleed liquid. We must kill you all. Come with me if you want to live. Anyway, check this out. This one's over on joystick.com. They got the details. They even got nifty pictures that you can check out from the Terminator series that a lot of people liked or didn't like, but you can check it out. Anyway, joystick.com has the details. U.S. Air Force, 2,200 PS3s. That's a lot. On top of the, I can't remember that number. On top of the 300 they already have, so they're going to have 2,500 PS3s, so check it out. You may or may not have heard of this next story. It's an application called Fring, and it's a voice over IP video client that currently works on Symbian. Now, this article over on JK and the Run is talking about a new feature that's coming out. They're going to add video Skype calls on Symbian phones, and a lot of Symbian phones have these frontal cameras. So finally, we may be living in the Star Trek days when you get on these Symbian phones. The frontal camera may actually be useful. You can do a video call. You can see the person that you're talking to, and they can see you. Very, very cool stuff. So it's going to be on the Nokia X6 N97 Mini, N97, 5800, N95, blah, 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 blah. Pretty much a big majority of the Nokia line, which is, you know, notoriously known for their Symbian OS. So check this out. They got a little video here. You can check out the two-way video. This guy's showing it off, and something that I think this is something that should have been there a while ago, especially with the front-facing camera. It's just when I got my Nokia. Right now, I have a Nokia E61. Let me hold it up here. Doesn't do very much. I switch out my SIM card with it sometimes with my iPhone. But I got a Nokia E61, and it doesn't have a camera, but it has all these video calling capabilities within Symbian. And I was like, why can't I use that? You know? Why, if I get a Symbian phone with a camera, why can't I just do a video call to anybody, not just somebody with a Symbian phone? Anyway, I'm glad to see that this application supports that. It's going to be, let me hold it up again for those of you who couldn't see. Here's the, I had it on the wrong thing. This is my Symbian phone. It's just something that it should have been there a long time ago. I'm glad to see that it's finally there. And hopefully more applications will support it and more people will do video calls, because I think now that we have the infrastructure, we can actually make stuff like this happen. So check this out. This one's over on JK and the Run. They got the details over there. Next story. I found this today, and I'm telling you, the first reaction I said was, woo! 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 I went Scooby-Doo. Man, play old Atari games on the new Atari.com. Yes, they got about 5 or 6 games that you can play, including the almighty Battlezone. Yes, yes. Shoot tanks, vector tanks. Yes. They got Yar's Revenge. They even got Adventure up there. Very, very cool. So just go up to Atari.com right now. You'll see them. They got the game screenshots with a play button next to them, and you can get your retro on. Hopefully they'll be adding more games. I was playing Yar's Revenge, and I was just like, the sound effects just made me shrink. I was like, Mommy, can I have some cereal? And I was a kid again. Very, very cool stuff. Very nostalgic. Go to Atari.com right now. Check it out. The new stuff. They're finally taking advantage of that IP that they've had for many, many years. That's just molded a lot of us. Check it out. This one's over on joystick.com.
You found Bawana.org Radio. Tech news and tech gadgets for the hardcore geek in all of us.
Next story is a little bit of business related. There's a company called SAP, and it's not SAP, although some people call it SAP, but SAP. They're a giant ERP CRM software maker, and none of that makes sense. Just think of them as this big business software that you'll never hear of unless you get into a big business. Yeah, SAP. The reason I'm bringing up this story with SAP is because they have integrated Twitter. And I was perplexed. I was like, wow, this big juggernaut of a company is actually going to utilize Twitter, really use it. And what they're doing is that they're joining it with PowerPoint, so that when you're doing a presentation, it will actually tweet portions of it to get feedback, to auto tweet, to secure internal use, blah blah blah. I don't know, maybe even share the slide. I mean, at first I was a little bit confused, but then I thought about it a little while. I was like, if they, this revision may not be the best revision, but, maybe this is something that could really grow in the future as Twitter matures. There's other microblogging sites like Yammer that a lot of businesses use. This may be a great way to get instant feedback. And I know through my experiences through corporations that you always want to solicit feedback during presentations, and got different technologies. A lot of people use proprietary stuff. Some people use good old-fashioned telephones. Some people use their own teleconferencing software. Hey, you can even use GoToMeeting to do something like this. So they're joining PowerPoint and Twitter together. SAP, check it out. This is a big story. I think it is a big story. Go over to Rewrite Web. You can read about it. If you don't understand a lot of this, don't worry about it. But I think those of you who are familiar with SAP know that this is pretty substantial, and I think it's going to change a lot of ways people do things. Check it out. Those of you who purchased Core i5 and Core i7 iMacs may be a little bit disappointed. According to this article on SlashGear and on other outlets, yeah, some of these are dead on arrival. Yes, some of these are dead on arrival. They're showing up with cracked screens. Some of them aren't even booting up. It's just a nightmare, and it's not localized. It's not just a little bit of people. I mean, the one Engadget got was messed up. I think SlashGear's, I don't know if theirs was messed up, but wow. I don't know if it's the build quality. I don't know if it's the heat, because I know the Core i7, i5 chips can get a little hot. But this is not good. Not good for the new iMacs, because the iMacs are getting good reviews. I mean, in some cases, the high-end iMacs, Core i7s are outperforming a higher priced Mac Pro with the similar specs. So, yeah. This is not good. Not good at all, Apple. Hopefully they'll address this in the form of a recall, or just honor the complaints and give these guys a new unit. And I'm hoping they just don't give them another one that's cracked. Hopefully they'll address it at the factory or the manufacturer level, or even at the design layer. Eat the cost, because they're going to have to eat the cost if they have to recall a lot of these. And just get customers new computers. Get them up and running as fast as possible, because I know. I've had this experience. My very first Mac that I bought was dead on arrival. I know this feeling. Your heart falls out of your body, starts to break dance, splits itself in half, and then cries like a baby. And you have to sit there and watch it do that. It's not a good feeling, especially when you drop a lot of cash on this. So check it out. This one's over on slashgear.com. They got the details over there, and you can get screenshots. They even got some pictures and links to other. Man, it just breaks my heart to see this. So check it out. You go check it out too. One of the things we do in the South, I consider North Florida to be the South. South Florida is not really the South. One of the things we do in the South and in other parts of the country is that sometimes on Thanksgiving we don't bake, or however you prepare a turkey, we don't always do it that way. What we do, and some people may scoff at this, some people may bleh, but we actually fry a turkey. We deep fry it. And before you judge it, before you go, ew, it actually does not taste what it sounds like. If you eat fried turkey, you won't even know it's fried. You'll think it's just very juicy turkey, because it's very, very good. But it I mean, we see it on the news all the time in Florida. It is one of the #1 causes of fires. People are not doing this right, and you know, they drop the turkey in the grease, and then boom, their whole back house is on fire. And fire companies and not fire companies, but the fire department and everybody, they always put out warnings. Hey guys, if you're gonna fry a turkey, do it this way, do this, do that, do that. So if you're curious about it, if you want to fry a turkey this year, here's a good article for you over on Instructables.com. They step through the more dangerous parts, and I've actually seen this done, and I agree. The dangerous parts of frying a turkey are actually putting it in and taking it out. That's where there's the biggest potential for burning yourself, for starting a fire, or for doing something very, very unpleasant. So if you're thinking about frying a turkey this year for Thanksgiving, here's a great article over on Instructables.com, how to safely fry a turkey. Now we're gonna end the night with a little bit of a we're gonna end the night with a little bit of a sad and kind of a be cautious note. If you've jailbroken your iPhone, yes, if you've jailbroken your iPhone and you've installed OpenSSL, or SSH as it's called, you might want to change your password. Now, I talked about this a couple of stories ago. It might have been last show. About how there was a Rickroll worm. It was a joking worm. And there's actually another one that came out that said your iPhone's been hacked because it's really insecure. Please blah, 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 blah. This particular worm has bypassed warnings and said, okay, we're now going to pwn you. We're now going to go into your pockets and take your funds. This is something from the Netherlands, and F-Secure reports that this infraction puts up an ING direct login page that lets the hacker gather login credentials and, we assume, move funds to wherever they please. This worm also changes the password, so you can't go in and change it. You're going to have to wipe your phone. By the time you find out you've been pwned, that's going to be the least of your worries, to wipe your phone. You're going to try to get your money back. So yeah, if you jailbroken your iPhone, you got SSH on there, and you haven't changed that password, you might want to do it. If you're in the Netherlands, you better do it. But come on, guys, this is getting bad. This is really, really good. I mean, unprotected SSH. If OpenSSL came installed like on Linux or Mac OS 10 or even on Windows with a default password, man, it would just be a nightmare. It would be a security nightmare. That's what's happening on jailbroken iPhones. That's what's happening right now. When you go in with SSL, there's a default root password. Everybody has the same password. Now, when you install Linux, Mac OS 10, you change the password when you run the installer. But now on these iPhones, the password is baked in. I believe it's Alpine. That's a widely documented password for iPhones. And I liken it to the desktops. If you if you install this on desktops, they got the default password. So many machines would be compromised, and that's what's happening here. That's what's happening on the iPhone. I'm not surprised. I am definitely not surprised, because default passwords are evil. Okay, I'm repeating myself. Check this out. This one's over on 2R.com. They got the details. Well, over there, you got screenshots, you got details, you got links. And that concludes episode 218 of Borderlands Radio. That's all the stories I have for today. So I appreciate you guys coming by. We're over at live.borna.tv and justin.tv/Borna. And we are doing this every Tuesday and Thursday nights, except this week. Remember I told you we got holidays coming up. We got things happening, so we won't be doing it this Thursday. And yeah, we're starting a new thing on Borna.tv. You may not know, we're doing giveaways every Friday now. Hopefully every Friday. I got a couple more lined up. If I can't buy anything, I ain't giving them away. But we've already given away Street Fighter 4 for the PC. We've already given away Uncharted 2 for the Street Fighter 4 for the PC, Uncharted 2 for the PS3. We've already given those away. Next week, I believe it's the 4th of December, we'll be giving away Windows 7 Ultimate Edition.
It's 9 o'clock.
It is 9 o'clock. Thank you, computer. I forgot to turn that off. But we will be giving away Windows 7 Ultimate, and we're going to be doing that next Friday. Not this Friday, but next Friday. So if you come this Friday, you're not going to see me. So check this out. This is going to be cool, guys. Go to our forum. I encourage you guys to register to our forum. Go to Bwana.org/forum. We got a lot of details there. You're going to have a minimum amount of posts on the forum to be eligible. So if you haven't signed up for the forums yet and you're expecting to get some from the giveaway, you might want to reevaluate, because you're going to have a minimum of 25 posts on the forum. And if you come the night of the giveaway and try to do 25 posts all at once, I'm going to disqualify you. So just sign up for the forums. It's easy to get 25 posts. That's like 2 posts a day between now and next Friday. That's nothing. So you guys can do that. All right, so let's talk. All right, podcast awards. You got till November 30th, and I don't know if I mentioned this on Born.org Radio, but you can vote multiple days. You can vote every day. So go over to podcastawards.com. Vote for Buona.tv. We are in the tech science category, and we're up against some big names, so I'm going to need you guys' help. Go up to the Podcast Awards. If you feel I'm worthy, please vote for me. I appreciate your support. All right, guys, that concludes episode 218 of Buona.org Radio. And I will see you next time.